London changed his mind. Now he's saying he was happier living as a man. So why the change? Well, here to tell us about his decision to detransition and the influence of social media and woke ideology on that decision, Ollie London joins us live in studio. Also, Ollie, I'm thrilled to be here, but before we get into it, I got to give a shout out for your brand new book, Detransition, a memoir available right now on Amazon. I think you can pre-order it, correct?
Right, so it's just come out on Simon & Schuster, Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, and it's tackling gender ideology and the issue of gender-affirming care on teens.
Wow. I mean, when you first came on set, you know, we connected because we've been following each other for a very, very long time. So I appreciate having you here in studio to share your story. So give us a kind of, give it to us in a nutshell. Why did you decide to detransition, and also what exactly does that mean?
So detransitioning is a term for anyone that transitioned their gender, whether that's medically or socially, and then decided that wasn't right for them, whether they were peer pressured into transitioning originally or not. They decide to detransition, and it's not an easy process. You have to, decide. There's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of attacks from the LGBT community if you dare to leave this trans ideology. And we're seeing thousands of teens publicly detransitioning on TikTok, on Reddit, on Instagram, and they're very brave to share their stories and what they've been through, but sadly they are being attacked every single day with death threats, with harassment, all for speaking their truth. So in terms of my personal story, I was always bullied as a kid. I was always told I was more feminine, I didn't fit in, I didn't belong. And then I moved to South Korea, and South Korea is a beautiful place, but plastic surgery is a big part of the culture, and literally there are billboards everywhere. Everyone looks so beautiful, so I kind of felt a pressure. I need to look like that. And originally I wanted to look like a Korean pop star because I was like, they're so beautiful, why not?
Are, yes.
Just like someone will go to a doctor and say, I want to look like Kim Kardashian. So I was doing that, and then I wasn't happy, and I was realizing, I do have gender dysphoria. I've always questioned my gender. People were telling me as a kid I was like a girl. So then I thought, you know what, maybe they're right. So I had facial feminization. I had 11 surgeries in one day. And yeah, so it was a lot of pain. I couldn't open my eyes for 3 days. Couldn't eat properly and stuff. It was tough. But, I've got through that process now. I realized it wasn't making me happy. It was a temporary fix.
Now, you said that it's very different in England, where you are from, that they are way further ahead of us here in the United States. Still a trend, a booming trend here in the United States, but you say it's different in England.
Right, so we had an instance of a clinic called the Tavistock Clinic, which is actually being shut down, although it is still prescribing hormones and puberty blockers right now, so we need to shut it down quicker. But this clinic had horror stories from whistleblowers that worked there, and also from parents. Basically, they would take the kids, they would say, oh yes, you must be trans, and many of these kids had other pre-existing conditions, autism, bipolar, eating disorders, and they were saying, oh, you must be trans, this is the solution. They weren't even doing psychological evaluations, they weren't even doing therapy sessions. They were literally saying, okay, you're trans, because guess what? It's big business. So these kids were being transitioned, and then after they left the hospital, there were no checkups, there was no research and data to see 1 year's time, is this kid doing okay, or have they detransitioned? No data at all. So there was a lot of kind of bad ethics with that particular clinic, and I do cover it in my book.
Also, what do you say to a kid, a teen, anyone truly who is considering transitioning based on your experiences?
Right, so as a teen, every single teen goes through a difficult phase where they may question who they are, how they identify, and we have the added problem now, which I didn't have when I grew up. We have social media. So social media is a huge factor. We're seeing TikToks, Dylan Mulvaney, other TikTokers promoting trans ideology and, oftentimes mocking women, trying to confuse women and separate them from the parents. So this has become an increasing concern, and we are seeing many cases of kids transitioning. In the case of the Missouri gender clinic that was exposed very recently, there were teachers from specific schools that were referring groups of girls that were friends to the clinic to transition. And many kids just want to fit in school. They want to be like their friends. If one kid feels trans one day, they'll want to do it as well, because it's cool. You're celebrated and praised by the trans community. So we need to really reevaluate the system right now, and we shouldn't be performing any procedures on kids.
And also, Ollie, as you said, once you transition, as you have, it is certainly not an easy feat to detransition. But again, that's exactly what you're doing. That's what your book is about, and we really appreciate you having you here in the studio again. And we really recommend your book to everyone to really understand what is going on. Detransition right there. Ollie London, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.